Hello y'all, this is Jessica from a Diamond and Sticks YouTube channel, and I figured today we would go over this character here. His name is the Deathslinger, and he is prestige to a level 4. Here is what he looks like when he's checked marked off on the killer chart on the killer side of this Dead by Daylight horror video game. I play on this person's Steam account, and right now I'm using all their other gaming resources. This is how I have this character dressed, and I've only played this killer like twice. I think he's really hard to play. He's fun to play. Let's go ahead and get into it and read his bio together. The Deathslinger. Born in the dust-ridden badlands of the American Midwest, Caleb Quinn was son to struggling Irish immigrants. On the edge of the frontier, sickness, famine, and death were common sights, and pioneers contended for whatever scraps they could claim while tycoons feasted. Caleb's father, once an engineer, had few options to ply his trade as businessmen posted a common sign, "No Irish need apply." His antiquated tools laid untouched for years until Caleb uncovered them. Noticing the son's interest in the trade, he gifted him his old wrench. Let me scroll down so I can finish reading this. The devices Caleb made under his father's guidance had quaint applications, but when his father was away, they took a grim turn. He had plans for a mask that would gauge barbed needles into a human's eyes and rip them from the sockets, complete with sketches of it fitted on boys who bullied him. With age, Caleb's engineering abilities became marketable, and employers put their discrimination aside. Henry Bayshore, the owner of the United West Rail, hired him. Caleb's first invented a gun that shot railroad spikes into the ground. Next, he made a steam-powered tunneling drill, but as Bayshore forged indifference, the devices began turning up at other companies. The parents patents stolen from Caleb, and so a familiar sensation coursed through Caleb's blood, feeding sharp pain in his heart. Rage overwhelming him, he burst into Bayshore's office and smashed his face into a bloody stew. As he was pulled away, he pushed his specialized gun to his boss's gut and squeezed the trigger. A railroad spike plowed through his skin and vascular, nailing Bayshore to his desk. The only thing that saved Caleb from hanging was Bayshore's unlikely survival. For 15 years, Caleb was confined to Hellshire Penitentiary. I can't say that word, I'm sorry. Penitentiary, the nation's first private prison, in a fortress of illiterate convicts. He found an unlikely friend in the educated prison warden. He designed torture devices for him, in return received extra meals. After a time, the warden offered to commute his sentence. He spoke of something greater than monetary wealth, political capital, and that his connections could have Bayshore framed and rotting behind bars for life. He had only one request: make him rich, fill the prison, use inequitably to bring outlaws in alive. Caleb returned to his workshop, and with a few modifications emerged with something new, the spear gun. The first trial occurred when a thief robbed a Chinese laundry. Seizing on the opportunity, Caleb unleashed his prototype. Metal joints screeched as the spike shot forward, gouging into the target's abdomen. But as the spear tugged, it caught the thief's intestines and, with an ungodly sound, yanked them onto the dusty road. After several iterations, the disablements dwindled, but Caleb had already earned his new nickname, the Deathslinger. Looking to protect his asset, the prisoner warden pulled strings and released Irish inmates to form Caleb's posse. The Hellshire Gang was born. For 6 years they roamed the country collecting wanted outlaws for the prison, fulfilling their end of the bargain. After a bloody battle at Glenville Caleb caught notice of a newspaper headline. Henry Bayshore purchases Hellshire Penitentiary. In the picture, a disfigured Bayshore proudly shook the warden's hand. Caleb's heart pounded with rage, blood swelling as if it would burst from his veins. He'd been sold out, a pawn in a rich man's game. The Hellshire Gang pledged their loyalty to Caleb and called for the warden's head. In a thundering gallop, they smashed through the prison's entrance, shrieking like bloodthirsty murderers. A guard raised his pistol but hesitated. A spear punctured his chest. Caleb grabbed the man's head and slammed it against a prison cell until it spilled through the bars. Reaching the warden's office, Caleb kicked the door and was met with a fortunate sight. It wasn't only the prison warden who cowered in a corner, but Henry Bayshore. Overpowered with rage, Caleb rushed Bayshore, beating, bludgeoning, tearing at his flesh. The man's blood dripped from his face, crimson pooling at his feet. The Hellshire Gang swarmed the warden, snapping bones with each kick. With the two men broken and begging for death, the posse dragged them to the commons, where they were left to the growing crowd of prisoners. Soaked in blood and sweat, Caleb hobbled to his old cell, hardly paying notice to Bayshore's screams. He sat on the bed's edge as drops of blood ran from his fingertips. A thick, unnatural fog screamed through the barreled window. He pulled out his old wrench, cracked and rusted, and ran a thumb along the metal, regarding it with faded eyes. He couldn't remember when it came into his possession. He didn't care to remember. At his feet he saw a dusty path, and at its end silhouettes of all who had done him wrong, the boys who bullied him, the executives who took advantage of him, and again Henry Bayshore, emerging from a fog, were the tools to dispose of them. Unforgiving steel hooks, brilliant and beautiful in their simplicity. Pain tore through his leg as he stood, but he had endured, pushing onward, walking the dusty path, leaving a trail of blood flowing behind him. So that's the Deathslinger's backstory. Now, let's go ahead and read his perks together. He's got Gearhead. It's very rare because it's in the purple. You've got an ear for well-oiled gears. After a survivor loses health state by any means, Gearhead activates for 30 seconds. While Gearhead is active, every time a survivor performs a good skill check while repairing their aurora is revealed to you for 8 seconds. Sometimes a man's best work is what puts him in the grave, the prison warden. The next perk he's got is called Dead Man Switch. Very rare because it's in the purple. When you hook a survivor, Dead Man Switch activates. The first survivor that stops repairing a generator causes the entity to block it for 50 seconds. The affected generator is highlighted by a white aurora. The dead man's switch cannot reactivate while it is blocking a generator. I've seen the look on a man's face when he realizes he's going to die. Caleb Quinn. His last perk he has is called Hex Retribution. It's in the purple, so it's very rare. A hex that lashes out upon its destruction. Those who cross you will be punished. Any survivor interacting with a dual totem or a hex totem survivor from the oblivious status effect for 60 seconds. If any hex totem is removed, including the one, the roars of all other survivors are revealed for 20 seconds. Oblivious prevents survivors from hearing or being affected by the killer's terror radius. Bloody fool, you pulled the trigger on yourself. Caleb Quinn. That's his perks. Now let's look at his customizations. He's got Remaining Wrangler, looks like that. Bounty Hunter, 4th anniversary, looks like that. Heartless, looks like that. That's the one that we're wearing right now, it's Heartless. Lawless, looks like that. This one's Merciless, it looks like that, that's what I switched it to. And then this is the Deathslinger, that's the original. We'll switch it to Heartless, I think. Yeah, we'll switch it to Heartless. That's what Heartless looks like. And then here is his loadout. Like I said, I've only played this character a couple times. I think it's fun to play. It's just really a hard character to play. And I don't play Killer much. And then here's what his blood web looks like. And that's what he looks like on the Killer chart. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye-bye.